All right, man. I was gonna do this video. I'm gonna upload it first, even though I did the Crawford video about Eddie first. But yeah, man. I was watching 30 for 30. I like documentaries as you get older. I like reading as you get older. And I was watching No Mas, right? And I was looking at this 30 for 30s on ESPN Plus. They got a great collection of fight walk, good fight walk too. A lot of old fights, and I was just looking at No Mas. I don't know what drew me to watch No Mas. One of my favorite 30 for 30s, my favorite ones as far as all of them, is the Miami University of Miami football ones, Reggie Miller one, in what Carter lost from the Friday Night Lights. In boxing ones, they all good, man. I mean, from the Buster Douglas one, was it 42-1 to No Mas to the whole chasing Tyson for Holyfield. I mean, they are pretty good. I never watched the Bruce Lee one. I didn't grow up in that era where Bruce Lee was the I didn't grow up in the Bruce Lee era. Let's say it that way. Bruce Lee was very, very huge, man. I'm not saying he not good. My era was Jackie Chan, Jet Li, you know what I'm saying, guys like that, man. John Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, Michael Jai White. Uh that was my era of karate people. Karate was huge in the 80s, man. They had a super boom. It was huge in the 90s, and for everything around that, it was boxing. But in the 2000s, it's mixed martial arts. Yeah, it's mixed martial arts. That's the thing. That's the cool thing to do now. But in the 80s, karate was the shit. I could think the Karate Kid and Bruce Lee before that, had something to do with it. But but yeah, people still take karate today. But get back on code here. My thing is, I was watching it, and Ray Leonard, his wife, was saying, and he was insinuating he's not going to admit it, but he was saying that Roberto Duran had him scared. And it's this disclaimer that Duran jumped up from 100 and he jumped up from 35 to 40. I mean to 47. And nah, he had some fights, in between 40 and 47. If 40 was a real weight class back then, which it was created, but you had some fights between 35 and 40, some upper echelon fights. And so he didn't really directly jump right up there. It's like Mildred Taylor, man. People said that Mildred Taylor, after Chavez beat him, and those people thought it was one of those other robberies, that Mildred Taylor didn't go on to do anything else in his career. That's not true. One of my Philly guys had to tell me that he went on and won a world championship. He just took another risk. I think he was at 54 and he challenged somebody. You know, so people got to understand too, man, that these dudes, can't believe everything you hear. But the one thing about this fight, man, that I was just looking at it was that I was thinking, I was like, well, Sugar Ray Leonard was saying that, he was insinuating that he might have been intimidated and scared by Roberto Duran, right? He may have been intimidated, but he fought. He said, man, he said something to his wife, like F your wife, you a B or whatever he said to his wife. He intimidated Sugar Ray Leonard. You gotta remember too, man, that Roberto Duran was the baddest, he was the most macho, baddest man on the planet. Think about that for a minute. He was the baddest dude walking. And his wife said about Sugar Ray Leonard leading up to the first fight, she think he was scared. That's what she said. No, no. And, you know, and what Roberto Duran was doing was, psyching him out. And, this is the fight, before I get into the Errol Spence thing and make the, do my thing. This is the fight that made me a fan of Ray Leonard in a loss. Your stock can rise in a loss, and it's not a moral victory. This Spence need to know this, man. Your stock can rise, and Sugar Ray Leonard got more credit than for losing to Roberto Duran, and it was close. You can make the case he won that fight, but I think Duran won it. But his stock rose in a loss. I said it again, his stock rose in a loss. It did. It rose in a loss. So I mean, Errol Spence need to know that, bro. You can still lose and get the respect of your peers. I know it's a social media era. They make memes, this, that, and the third, and whatever it may be. But this man showed people that he can get his hands dirty. Indeed, he said in his corner during the fight that he thought about quitting. He said that he thought about quitting. He said, "Man, I can quit here and ride off into the sunset and retire." Think about that. That popped in that man's head where he said, I think about quitting. But he said, you know what, man? He said, I'm paraphrasing. He said, the fighter in me wouldn't let me quit. He said, sitting in that corner, he said, the fighter in me wouldn't let me quit. And Errol Spence got a duty to the fans to perform like a fighter. No matter how scary or how challenging the task is. He owes us to perform like a fighter. He does. People laughing, but he was intimidated by Roberto Duran. He was intimidated, but you know what, man? And he went out there and fought him again after going through that. He retired. He said he was in Hawaii, man, and he said people were saying, coming to him saying, "Oh, I feel bad for the champ," or I'm paraphrasing, or I thought you won. He said that, his pride, man, his fighter's pride wouldn't allow him. His fighter's pride wouldn't allow him to not go back in there with that man. Think about it. Roberto Duran was scary, bro. He hurt Sugar Ray Leonard a couple times in that first fight. Come on. You were scared, but he had a duty to his family's name. He had a job to do to for his fans. And remember, he was they gave the torch to him after Muhammad Ali, bro. He was the next up. He was the next up. So he had a duty. He had a duty to he had a duty to fight, bro. He had a duty, bro. He had a duty, man, and he had a duty to everybody in that arena, everybody that paid him, his family, and even to Roberto Duran, man, to quit. He said he thought about quitting, and then he came back and dominated some late rounds. So I mean, like I said before, man, people got to understand, man, that it's boxing, no doubt about it. But you got a duty to yourself. And he said, man, I couldn't let myself quit. He said I wanted to, but the fighter inside of him wouldn't let him quit. He said, man, he thought about it. He said it went through my mind. He said it went through my mind that I could just ride off in the sunset. I made some money. This, that, and the third. And it crossed his mind. But he didn't cop out. He didn't quit. He didn't quit. And not only did he didn't quit, he didn't quit. He went in there with that man again. They don't build them like this no more. And he was looked at as the one that kind of messed up boxing with catch weights and took it from 15 to 12 rounds. But you know what, man? He wasn't no punk. People thought he was sweet. But he went back in there with that man again. It's called Fighters Pride. He did fight a third time, but that was like almost Leonard's last fight. He was old. It was called Fighters Pride. And he went back in there. He got to look at that man. He He reevaluated. His brother told him, box this time. Use your attributes. And was it some foul play there? People thought, turnaround was too quick. With brother Duran said he thought he was the king of New York, eating every day. But hey, that ain't my fault. He said I knew the rematch was coming. He basically said I knew Ray wouldn't stay retired. I knew the rematch was coming. So I mean, shit. If you knew it was coming, and brother Sugar Ray Leonard just frustrated him. And Duran quit. But the thing about it, Duran still went down as a top 10 fighter of all time. He was still go down as a top 10 fighter. So I mean, so it is what it is. Still down. There's no shame in it. His stock rose from a loss, and he came back and he defeated his nemesis. So where's Errol Spence's fighter's pride, man? Where's that thing in his chest? Where's that thing in his head? Where's his respect to his father, his mother, to his Jamaican roots, to his family? Where that's at, man? Where Errol Spence fighter pride at, man? Sugar Ray Leonard, he had his fighter's pride, man. He did. He had a fighter's conscience. Where Errol Spence is at? Your duty to boxing is to go in there and perform. No matter how dangerous the opponent is, how dangerous the test is. This is what you signed up for. Where is it at? Are you gonna strap your nuts on and bang, or you gonna show us that's why they don't make fighters like they used to make them? Which one you gonna show us, man? So hey, let me know what you guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. On my social media subscription, Twitter's the fastest way to Facebook and Instagram. I'll make a financial donation, Cash App, CJ Good 313, Venmo, CJ Good 313, PayPal link description, all around the bottom of the screen description. Other than that, that's for the donate. Thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, comment, hit the bell icon button, hit all notifications off side next to the subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.